If you've watched any of my videos over the last year, you'll know that I've been highly critical of many things that the church does. But these criticisms don't mean that I've abandoned going to church. In fact, I'm there almost every Sunday. For me, going to church on a regular basis has been a richly rewarding and challenging experience. Because I don't go to a church that makes me comfortable. And I'm not really there to make them comfortable either. Too many people go to church because they want it to make them feel good and comfortable. I've had my pastor come up to me and tell me point blank, if I don't go talk to a certain individual, I'm in sin. That's not something you tell somebody if you want them to keep coming back. And through these things, they have pushed me and changed me in ways in which I couldn't imagine beforehand. They have made me a better person, as well as making me sharpen and refine my points of view and how I deal with other people. I don't go to a church that agrees with my points of view, but it has provided me with an uncomfortable grit in order to make a pearl. So hopefully I will be able to lead the church in, even if it's just one small way, on a path forward to more honestly and earnestly serve God through Jesus Christ. Now, I talk about my feelings on the church only because in the last couple of weeks, I've had people express to me a desire or a want to return to a church after being gone for some time. And because of the struggles that I have expressed going to church, the reasons that they give me for not wanting to come back to church leaves me wanting to ask them, really? That's the reason you want to give me for not coming to church? Now, the first silly idea I want to debunk is the idea that if a person walks into a church, that somehow God, because of their sin and how terrible they are, God's going to drop the roof on them. I want to point out that while you may think that your sin is special enough for God to drop the roof on your head, it doesn't. I'm sorry, the world has lied to you. And while your conscience may be bothering you, and you need to address that, there are many people who come to church regularly with sin greater than yours who are there and God hasn't dropped the roof on their head. Church is full of people who are just completely jacked up. The meth addict who's trying to turn his life around. The single mother who's been abandoned by her boyfriend. The divorced woman who's fleeing from her husband. The husband who's struggling to find a job but can't find one because nothing seems to be out there. The sin and pain in these people's lives is great, but God hasn't dropped the roof on these people's heads for walking into the church. So, if you think you really shouldn't go to church because of the vileness of your life, just go. The second reason that I've seen given for people not coming to church is an overly idealized version about what a church should and shouldn't be. People come to church wanting it to be a place where people are going to be loving and caring, open to people with different views and different lifestyles. They want the church to listen and understand where they're coming from. Everybody comes to church with a list of expectations and demands. But unfortunately, these demands and these expectations are only known to them. So when these needs are not met and they collide with the reality that's happening within that congregation, they wind up being disappointed and let down. And most of the times they leave without telling anybody why. So here's something that I've picked up over the years of going to just one church. Yes, just one church. People are not going to meet your needs if you pick up and leave every time you feel that your needs are not being met by that congregation. I could come up with a list of things my church is not doing to meet my needs or the needs of the community around us. But I found that this would just be me complaining about things that my church might not be able to fix. They might not have the time, the resources, or people power to invest into the problem. I learned early on that the church staff, pastors, and elders can't meet the needs of everybody that comes to church. So my personal reason for going to church isn't necessarily for my needs to be met, but for me to serve, even if it's in a small way, the people around me and their needs. So many people treat the church like a restaurant where they go and expect to be served, and if the meal isn't correct, they complain. The church is not about the me. It's about everybody else. So if you go to a church and it doesn't meet your idealized version of what a church should be, become that idealized version. Reach out to people, love people, have compassion on people. So here's the last thing that makes people reluctant to come to church. It's an unwillingness of people to open their mouth and tell others what's truly going on. Now, this could be a completely American phenomenon, but when we're asked, how are you doing? You respond with good, fine, great, it's okay. You don't really get into the nitty-gritty about what's truly going on in your life. We should never be afraid of the truth. If life's not going well, we need to own up to that fact and to admit it. And if people are afraid of you answering the question directly with honesty and with truth, then you know what? They're going to stop asking. And it's only going to be the true ones, the ones who truly love you, truly care about you as a person, who are going to listen to your answer. But don't be afraid to open your mouth and tell people what's going on. Going to church is not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be good. So if you're one of those people who feels that they need to go back to church because they've been gone for too long, just do it. And let me know below in the comments how it goes. My name's David Patton. I publish videos almost every Friday talking about my journey of faith. So hit that subscribe button and know when the next video comes out. God bless and thank you for watching.